Okay, it's happy Monday. I hope it's a happy Monday. I know it's probably a challenging Monday or a meditative Monday. I hope to make it a meaningful Monday for all of you who will be joining us today. I'm super excited that here on Home Together today, we're talking with a legend, John Bon Jovi, but why I'm really excited to talk to him about is his service work and his great quote that says, where he said a couple weeks ago, if you can't do what you do what you can. And I think that's something that we're all kind of dealing with right now. We can't do what we normally do, and how can we do what we can, and what can we do? And so I think this will be a really inspiring conversation. He's an extraordinary man, dad, husband, musician, architect of change, public servant. I'm messing my hair up. Here comes Patrick. He's joining. He had to get coffee or something.
Water.
Okay, he got
Stay
water.
hydrated, folks.
He got water. So welcome to another edition of Home Together. Is it blurry or is it perfect? It's a little blurry. It looks better now?
Now it looks better. Maybe it's the sunshine.
Maybe it's the sun. Well, that's good. It's the sun. Anyway, are you excited about talking with John Bon Jovi today?
I really am.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of him and his family. His son is always very nice to me. And
Yes.
I'm excited to get to talk with him and talk about everything he's doing right now to use his platform to help, his community and actually pretty much everybody around the world with his soul kitchen and with playing his music and integrating his music with other people that are singing and everything like that.
Yeah, that's so great. And you're going to be joining his son on his platform later in the week called Hampton Water, which is a very successful rosé. So
Yes,
people
I'll have to break my rule of having any alcohol Monday through Friday for him.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you can pretend sip it.
That's
you
true.
Maybe have to
I could
drink
just
it.
do real water.
Yeah, you could do no, you have to do, I guess, Hampton water. But anyway, it's, I know kind of a lot of people Monday morning, normally you're used to going off to work and you're looking at another week of stay at home. I want to remind people that being at home, staying at home is an act of service. So I don't want you to think that I'm doing nothing, I'm not helping here. Staying at home, you're helping people, you're helping healthcare workers, you're doing what we're being asked to do. So that is an act of service. I think that makes us all feel a little bit better about staying home if we look at it as a service.
Yes. Well, to remind you guys, my name is Patrick Schwarzenegger. I am Maria's son. We have to introduce ourselves every time because like we've seen, a lot of new people have been coming on.
New people.
And yes, there's new people. They always say that they're new in the comment section. So if you're new, thank you for coming. Welcome. If you're returning, like a lot of you guys are, thank you for returning and coming back. We're glad these conversations have been impacting you in a positive way and bringing optimism. And you can introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Maria Shriver. I'm Patrick's mother, and we're home together. Patrick very kindly moved in with me because I live here alone, and so he moved in with me, and so we thought we would do this since we're home together, this conversation series, which has brought so much joy, I think, to people. And now we're going to add our great friend John Bon Jovi, who's going to talk about how he's bringing joy and inspiration to millions of people, way more than us. Oh, there he is. Can you hear us?
I can hear you and I see you.
There you
Okay,
go. How
hi.
are you?
Hi, guys. It's good to be here.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, Maria, my darling. Maria, your mom actually thought for a second that I might forget Patrick, but nobody ever forgets like what your mother's told him to do for as long as I've known her, which is 30 plus years now.
That's true. I sent John a note this morning, said, I just want to remind you that we're doing this today. He said, you don't need to remind me. I know.
I think that he was the fastest person to do the ask to be on the live with us. Your capabilities on Instagram are very impressive. Most people have been struggling to understand how to do this.
Well, I have Jesse sitting
That helps. That helps. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Producer
You said-
extraordinaire.
Yes, we said that Patrick's going to be joining Jesse later this week on Hampton Water Happy Hour. And I took note that I was not invited because I look at that as kind of a young hip brand.
No way. The more the merrier. We'd love to have you on.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
We can split a glass together.
Okay, so it's okay. I'm cool with his parents. That's good. I know where my space is. But John, we want to thank you so much for coming on here today because there's so much to talk about, and you've been so inspiring these last couple of weeks with this line in particular. And Patrick, you were talking about how inspiring that is. So why don't you take it?
With the line of, if you can't do what you do, then do what you can. Correct? And we wanted to know, I mean, first off, it's such a beautiful line. And my mom is actually the one who told it to me at first. And at first I had to re-say it to myself. And I was like, oh, wow, that actually is really, really great and deep. And so why don't you explain to everybody what that means exactly?
Well, this pandemic has slowed down everybody simultaneously. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. We're all experiencing this in real time. And because we're all living this experience together, we're sort of having to rediscover who we are as members of our community or members of our own families, or how we define ourselves by our professions, or, you know, the country that we come from. So there I was as just another one of the citizens trying to pay attention to what was going on, and working in the flagship of our Soul Kitchens in Red Bank, New Jersey. And Dorothea snuck by and took a picture of me. I didn't even notice. The next day, when she posted it to our site, not for publicity, but to tell people that if they were in need, we were still open and able to feed, especially those in need. And she said, how do you want to caption the photo? And just in passing, I said, if you can't do what you do what you can. And I left the room. It was the next day when I was, you know, waking up and coming around, and I thought, wait a minute, that's a song title. And so I ran into my office and picked up my guitar, and I wrote the chorus and I wrote the song in its entirety. But that's when I again realized that we were all in this together. And those who are watching us all in this broadcast, each one of them have lived an experience that is this song. And so I then thought I should share the chorus and a verse, just enough to give them a taste of the melody and the subject, and a chorus, and said, join me, write me a verse, tell me your story, because we're all living it together. And so although I have completed the song and had completed the song before I shared any of it, the thousands of verses that I've gotten have also created a little community and given me an opportunity to pick up the guitar again and sing some of these verses back to the many people who took the time to write it.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. You can go to John's Instagram and see him singing some of the responses, some of the comments. What have you learned, John, from the comments about people, about what they're going through?
Well, I think what I've always known, Maria, is that we're all cut of the same cloth. You know, there's 99.9% of everything that we are made up of is the same. We may have different opinions and come from different places, and so therefore, you know, we all think that we're special, but we're not. We're all the same, you know, and so people are talking about their situations, whether it's being home and unaccustomed to that, getting to know the family themselves. Some people have talked to me about interstate trucking, which I would have just had to guess that, you know. They've talked to me about the relationship between they and their children on a deeper level. They talked to me about being a nurse and what it means to have taken that oath and going into those rooms, knowing that they're in danger every day, but taking that oath to give to the men and women in need, you know. So these kinds of stories were moving for me, and it's so great for me to be able to take those verses and sing them back, so then these people feel that I am engaged.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very engaging, and it's great to see you kind of bringing the community together. You had mentioned where the photo was taken, where you came up with that line was the Soul Kitchen and everything. We're very familiar with it. Can you just explain to everybody what it is that you're doing in this cause?
Sure. Some 12 years ago, in the economic downturn in the United States, we had a foundation called the John Bon Jovi Soul Foundation, and we were building houses, primarily building houses. But in the economic downturn, when tax credits and opportunities dried up, it was Dorothea, my wife, who turned to me and said, now we have to feed the people whose houses we built. And so she, stream of consciousness, came up with this whole idea and said, we're going to create this restaurant where we can feed people. And the idea is that there's no prices on our menu. If you come and you want to affect change directly, you leave a $20 bill on your table, which pays for your meal and a meal of somebody. So he's trying to call me. So, am I back?
Yeah.
So if you leave a 20 on the table, you're paying for your meal and the meal for somebody next to you. If you're in need, and you would never know the difference in our restaurant, if you are in need, we ask you to volunteer. So it empowers those who come in by participating. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. We take no government money. It's all from the foundation or donations. And that in turn helps us to give from our hearts and to provide good, wholesome farm to table foods,
Right.
that people can come in. And then because of that model, if it weren't me, it might be a little more difficult, but because of the model, we're at about break even. So
Wow.
after 10 years in the flagship location, 2 years being the pilot program, we're at a break even. It's working. The community understand the model because it was foreign to people here in the middle of New Jersey. We opened a second one because we realized, having talked to those in need, that service providing was integral. So whether it's filling out a job application to get back in the workforce, legal, medical advice. So we incorporated that into our second restaurant. A food pantry and the food bank are under the same roof, so it's more volunteer opportunities. Then the third one, which is most interesting, is universities embracing food insecurity. And Rutgers University in New Jersey embraced our model. And instead of saying, oh, it doesn't happen here, they did the opposite. They said, yeah, it happens here, and we know it happened everywhere. And so we opened our third location at Rutgers University, and the same model works there at Rutgers in Newark.
That is so awesome, John, because several people asked on my Instagram account, is he going to expand that? So that just answered that question. But right now we're hearing about so many restaurants that are closing. So are you guys still operating? And if so, are you seeing a different clientele? Are you seeing a difference in the people you're serving?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, thank you. We are open, and I was able to take back my position behind the sink on a daily basis. We happen to be closed on Mondays because there's someone else who takes a business on Monday and feeds those in need. So this is our day to clean up the place. And I've been there 5 days a week for the last 3+ weeks now.
Wow.
And we'll remain in that position because we can't have volunteers. And we're also closed to just do the in need. So the in need who would typically volunteer,
Right.
we bring them their meals outside, and the only people inside are Dorothea, myself, the chef, the sous chef, and the manager of the restaurant. So I'm washing dishes, the chefs are cooking, and then the manager's taking the food out to people.
Wow. That is incredible.
And we've done so many conversations with business people of how they've had to shift their model, and it sounds like that's exactly what you guys are having to do as well. Are you delivering these meals to people, or what are the kind of the safety precautions that you guys are having to go through?
No, other than gloves and masks for the manager, especially who's giving the food primarily to the in need. if you know of our model and you need that help and you have a car, you drive up in your car. But where we're seeing the difference in our clientele now is a lot of out of work restaurant workers,
Right.
staff. And so they're coming with their families. And so we're able to give them takeout, primarily just, meals to take with them home.
So, John, if people want to support the Soul Kitchen, where do they go if they want to help? You've relied on donations, I know, in the past, and so people can't come in the restaurant anymore. Is there a place for them to go to support at $10, $15, or whatever work you're doing?
It's the jbjsoulkitchen.org.
jbjsoulkitchen.org. We'll put
I'll
that.
write that in
We'll write that in the comments. jbjsoulkitchen.org. So that continues to allow them to do their work. That continues to allow John to do the dishes. And when John talks about Dorothea, that's his wife, and that is the soul, in many ways, of their family and of this kitchen and of this idea and this concept. And she's the one that's been really pushing that idea from the very beginning. So I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to ask, there's a couple of questions, John, that people had. And Rich Hammer said, where did your idea of service come from? So you're a big, as everybody knows, rock star, and you're traveling all over, but then you have this whole other side of you. Where did that come from? When did that click into you?
I'm not really sure. I think it's instilled in you as a kid by your parents. We were always grateful for what we have, but it wasn't as if my folks were involved the way your folks were.
Right.
But as we grew together, my wife and I, and grew up, we were around a lot of people who were giving back. And we always felt that kind of ability compounded by desire, to get involved. So I would say that it started with the Special Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a part of all of those records early on that we made with your brother Bobby and Jimmy Iovine, and how we worked with your mom and dad on that, and then I remember truly that when President Clinton was coming into office, he was really inspirational to me. I was 30. I think you come to a point in your life where focus changes for a young man into more of an adult. Perhaps, I wasn't chasing the rock star things with single-minded focus the way I was from 21 till 30. Things started to change. I was married. I was thinking about having our first children. And so I think that President Clinton had something to do with it. I think that you, Maria, had something to do with it. Your mom and certainly had something to do with it. And it evolved from there until I started the foundation by accident. It was out of sports ownership. I once upon a time owned an arena football team, but I knew that the way to differentiate myself from the big four in Philadelphia was to be more philanthropic than all of them. Wow. And so we started the Philadelphia Soul Foundation, hence the name, the Soul Kitchen, because the team was called the Philadelphia Soul. And we started this little foundation. At first we were Robin Hood, giving anything to everyone. And then we found focus in the issue of homelessness, because I realized one night, looking out of this hotel room window in Philly, that it didn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, black, white, yellow, red, or Yankee fan or Mets fan. Anyone and everyone could be affected by homelessness. And I asked for help on the subject, and little did I know, but the Michael Jordan of the topic, Sister Mary Scullion, was there in Philadelphia. And we became fast friends, and she taught me everything that we knew about it. When we found that focus on the homeless issue, I went to see her, and she said, well, your intentions are very good. Perhaps you could save up enough money to help us rebuild a row home. And I wasn't being a wise guy, but I said, Sister Mary, what would it cost to do the block? And she looked at me and said, why do you ask that? And I said, because if we could do a block, we could do a neighborhood. If we could do a neighborhood, who knows what we could do? And so we became fast friends. And now I guess it's near enough to 1,000 homes we've built. We have the 3 restaurants, you know, and she's still on our board. And, you know, it's 15 years now that I've had the foundation.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for all the work that you've done with all of that. And, you know, one of the things that kind of came of this stay at home and this kind of Corona thing has been me and my mom getting to spend a lot more time together, but also work together. We've been doing these Instagram lives every day, and it's been a pleasure getting to work with her. And I know that you have something very similar where you have a business and you've been working with your son, who I know. And we just wanted to know what that's been like, since it's been such a journey for us in the last 3 weeks, and talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, Jess is our eldest son. Our eldest child is Stephanie, our daughter. But Jess had come back from Notre Dame one summer and had an idea for Hampton Water. And I thought that's a great name for a rosé. So I said, go and utilize that degree you're getting from Notre Dame and come back with the business plan. And he and his college roommate did just that. And they came back with the whole plan. And so I was just able to help them get introduced to the right people, because then it was going to all be on them. But we've had a lot of fun, you know, with this father-son kind of team. And I watch him and his college roommate, Ali Thomas, really turn into a very successful wine brand. And I just come in like what we say is, you know, Santa Claus. I come in, people sit on my knee, take a picture, and then they do all the work. But, you know, I'm Santa, and I come in for the photo ops, and they're doing great. And it's a hell of a product, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it sure beats selling tube socks or something. You know, this is something that we can actually enjoy, and it's working. It's great.
That's so great. And as I said, people are saying here, love Hampton Water. So, and you're going to be doing that a little bit later on. Thursday, okay, on the happy hour. But John, and finally, you were talking about that this is a sobering time, and you well know it, like by the work you're doing, and everybody's going through this collectively, but also individually, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm just wondering, how has this impacted you? How do you feel changed by this experience so far yourself?
I think it's caused me to slow down. You know, we're always on a treadmill. You know, it seems like we're always running to the next thing. And in my case, I had a record coming out next month, and a tour sold out and ready to go, and rehearsals booked and stages to build, and on a dime it was gone. And
Wow.
And it's fine. It's actually fine, because it's giving me a chance to reconnect in our home in New Jersey. I mean, I never come here anymore. We've been here for a month. I haven't spent a month in this house in a decade. And
Wow.
And to have all the kids back under one roof and healthy, and having all this time together has been good for us, and good for me. It's good for me, because I think you remember what priorities are, which is good health and then family.
So John, but also when you go out on tour, you have a lot of people who depend on you for their livelihood, right? A lot of people were planning their year's income based on your tour. What happens to all of them, and how do you kind of deal with that yourself, kind of spiritually, intellectually?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for everybody, because, you know, it starts at the top, right? If there's no income for each one of those crew guys, it's because there's no income at the top either. Right now, we're still mulling over options, whether we're going to postpone or cancel, or if by some miracle, this were all to clear up on Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, so right now, although I'm confident that it's at least postponed, a final decision is yet to be made. And at that time, if in fact it has to be postponed, then you're able to take care of some people. If it's canceled, we'll have to figure out, you know, what I can do to help until I decide we can go back to work again.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, anyway, I want to thank you, John, so much for joining. my other brother while you were calling. So we're all, but I want to mention that John, he mentioned Special Olympics. He raised millions of dollars for Special Olympics that is still ongoing. We still make money at Special Olympics from those records that John and many others did, but he was one of the first to step up and lend his voice and his support for people with intellectual disabilities, making such a difference with his work at the Soul Kitchen with Dorothea, washing dishes. I love that picture, and I wanted to say that I love this man for who he is as a man, as a father, and as a friend. And I think the work you're doing with the Soul Kitchen is extraordinary.
Amazing.
And I love the line, if you can't do what you do, do what you can. So this is what we can do.
Yes,
and,
that's what we're trying to do. Use this time to find ways to kind of heighten people that have platforms that are utilizing it to help other people like yourself. And we're really thankful that you were able to join. And if you ever want to open one of your kitchens in LA, we would be the first to come and help and find ways to do that. So let us know, and we're very thankful for you and your time.
And we're going to put that up. So
Well, love you all. Love
Okay.
your whole family. But thanks. Thank you. And we'll get through this together. And I look forward to seeing you guys in person, okay?
Love you, John. Thank
Great.
you so much.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're going to put that.
Well, just to remind everybody that was on here, thank you for coming. I'm Patrick Schwarzenegger. This is Maria Shriver, whose
Yes.
Instagram you're watching. But a lot of people that came from John Bon Jovi. We've been doing these Instagram lives every single day, talking with different individuals that are utilizing their platforms, like I just said, to help other people. And like John, and we have a great lineup for the rest of the week. We have Governor Gavin Newsom from California. We've had Guy Fieri, who's also been helping with tons of restaurants. Bethany Frankel. We've had
We've had Mel Robbins, who talked about
tons and tons of
Rob
people.
Lowe, who talked about sobriety. We're doing Chef Andreas with his World Central Kitchen this week. We're talking to Glennon Doyle tomorrow about her best-selling work, her best-selling book, and the work she's doing for families and low-income families. So all of the people on here are the helpers, the healers, and the cultivators of hope. And many of you have given us suggestions. I wrote down the suggestions that I'm getting.
Yes, we love getting your suggestions. So if you keep commenting and telling us who you guys would love to listen to or us to speak with, we take your suggestions.
I like
and
that Stacy there said she has a special needs child.
yes,
And so I want to do a shout
someone
out
just
to her.
said, Wanda says the retail area is crushed. Bring someone on from there. So every Saturday we've been doing Small Business Saturday, where we've been bringing someone on that is a business owner or a business mentor or a mindset coach, and he's been talking about some of the stuff that's going on with brick and mortar and with the retail section, and how his businesses, or this weekend there might be actually a female, which would be great to get their perspective as well.
Oh,
And
woman.
talking
Wow.
about how businesses are shifting and mindsets are changing and everything. So thank you for that suggestion. We will definitely be doing that. But we take your guys' suggestions into consideration, and we reach out to them, and hopefully they're wanting to speak about what they're doing and speak with us. So we love when you guys comment and tell us who else to speak with. A lot of our suggestions or the people we've gotten have come from you guys. So please continue to do that and tell us who you think would be great. We appreciate you guys tuning in, asking the questions. If you want to ask any more, continue to DM Maria or myself, so that we have questions in advance to ask.
DM or just put it on the comments.
You can put in the comments, but after this, if they come up, you say
Bill
tomorrow.
Gates. Yeah, that's a good
Bill
idea.
Gates would be legendary. But no, they can put it here or
Oh, yeah. Okay.
message you.
They can message me. Yes,
Yeah, and then you
that's
have
right.
the question.
Someone who specializes in anxiety. That's a really good suggestion. Thank you. Mel Robbins talked about that. We're going to talk to Glennon Doyle about that. I know so many people struggling with anxiety, struggling with food insecurity. Barack Obama, really good idea.
Who's doing Maria's hair? It looks great.
Maria's doing Maria's hair. Really? Or is that sarcastic?
I have to wear a hat because
I don't know. Maria's
mine's
doing
crazy.
Maria's hair.
And my beard is
Maria's-
getting out of control.
Maria's
But
hair is not being done. But I
yeah,
like
someone
that.
said Jennifer Garner. We just did Jennifer Garner
That's
last
true.
week.
And you can watch these conversations if you missed them on.
I have them on my
YouTube.
YouTube,
Oh.
or you have a YouTube maybe as well.
Yeah, I do. But
Yes, you
your
do.
probably is more popular.
No,
but
it's
anyway.
not. I just started to put these up there. So
Oh, okay, great.
I'm
Well,
not-
anyway,
I'm
you
not
can
yet.
watch, and we also list them in the Sunday paper, which is our free weekly newsletter. And so we put them up in that as well so that people who missed these or might not be on Instagram can read them in the Sunday paper. Jerry Seinfeld, that's a good idea. I talked to his wife, Jess Seinfeld, who does a lot of great work on the Good Plus Foundation. She is going to come on and talk about her work. We're trying to do people who are working and doing something that's particular to this moment, helping people, because we are well aware that everybody.
Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. That'd be fun.
Idea.
That'd be
a
both
good
of them
idea.
together.
That's right. The Sunday
Elizabeth
paper,
Warren,
once again, you can
Sunday
watch these if you go to the Sunday paper. You go to Holly Robinson Pete. I love her. She does great work. Thank you very much, Megan Fox, for suggesting that. Prince E, yes, that's another really good, Mama Grits. Thank you so much. These are really great ideas. So thank you so much for these ideas. And we're trying to do really one a day, but we have so many, we can maybe go do 2 a day. I don't know.
We need some time. We're gonna be home together for a little while, I think. So let's spread it out.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And
talk about mental health. Yes, we're going to also talk to Glennon about that tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
Jay Shetty, good idea. So
Jay
if you can help us, Jay Shetty, tell him to come on here, but we'll try to book him too. Thank you. God bless. Have a great rest of your day. Thank
See you later, Alligator. Mark Cuban, that would be great. I love Mark Cuban.
Bye.
Oh, they say shave, Patrick. Okay, thank you.